Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the expert panel discussion, The Secrets to Fleet Management Success in Latin America. Cost efficiency is the #1 priority for fleet managers in the region. But achieving this is not always easy in a maturing region like Latin America. In this panel discussion, we will examine how to develop an efficient fleet management program that brings benefit to both the company and the employees. Let me welcome our experts of this panel discussion, Karina URIBE, Fleet Latin American Lead, Pfizer. Karina, welcome. Welcome to the panel discussion.
Thank you, Steven. Very happy to be here.
Thank you. Our second guest is Sérgio Jábali, Executive of PARAR, the Fleet Association in Brazil. Sérgio, welcome.
Thank you, Steven. Hi, everybody.
João Andrade, Managing Director, Localiza Fleet Solutions. João, also a big welcome to you.
Thank you, Steven. Pleasure to be here.
Thank you. And finally, Daniel Bland, our Fleet Latam editor and my co-moderator of today. Daniel, welcome.
Hello, good to be here. Hi, Karina, Sérgio, João, and of course you, Steven.
Thank you very much. We have prepared some questions, and Daniel, I think that you are going to kick off.
Yeah, the first question I have, I guess, I'll ask to Karina. Basically, Karina, what are the fleet management obstacles that you see in Latin America, and how can fleet managers overcome them?
Yes, Daniel. Well, I think in my experience, the major obstacles in the fleet management is the non-consolidation of your vendors, of your policy, of your procedures, all that kind of things that you don't have consolidated or you don't have harmonized is very important. Cultural resistance is another topic that you face a lot in Latin America. Country to countries are very different, and there's a lot of cultural resistance. Difference of maturity, as I say, one country to another could have different levels of maturity in different aspects of your fleet management. And of course, internal and external factors. So with that, to overcome this, you have to, well, start first consolidating as much as you can, all these aspects, understand very well how can you collect these the data collection. You have to understand and standardize all the formulas and analyze and standardize each country on this, and work a lot on the cultural and maturity aspects. You need to have a robust and consistent communication with the countries to overcome these aspects. Basically that's my opinion.
Okay, sounds great. And, I don't know, João, do you have anything to add?
Sergio, this is Sergio.
Sergio?
Yes, I would add the lack of professional training. So in our experience at PARAR Institute, we see that many companies, they treat the fleet management as kind of an appendix to other departments, such as logistics, HR, procurement. So they allocate professionals without experience or without professional training for the job, and this has improved in recent years. That's the work that's been developed by PARAR Institute, where thousands of managers have received quality content and training focusing on driver safety. So we'd like to transform them from fleet managers to life managers. But I believe there's still much to overcome. As Karina said, one example regarding suppliers, like for many companies providing basic tracking, especially in Brazil, and they are offering their service in the market as advanced telematics. So I believe like the real improvement will come through the training of both fleet managers and also the suppliers.
Okay. Before that we continue, I would like to ask Karina, can you also picture how many vehicles you manage across Latin America at Pfizer?
Yeah, across Latam, we have like around 2,500 vehicles at this time in Latam.
Okay. And the biggest country is?
Brazil.
Okay,
Brazil. Next Mexico.
Okay. We are going to continue. With João. João, what are for you the easiest countries to manage across Latin America, and what are the most challenging ones?
Well, in terms of fleet management in Latin America, I believe Brazil is the most developed country in terms of fleet management, with basically very good international companies operating here and also local champions operating in Brazil. In other countries, I mean, there's still some challenge in terms of culture, in terms of scale to have a fleet management company. So that, I mean, there's a lot of room for growth in terms of fleet management in Latin America as a whole. But Brazil is the top country in terms of market penetration and so on. And I would say Chile is the second one in Latin America today.
Would like to continue with Karina. Karina, how to include Latin America in a global fleet management strategy? You are working for a global company. You are heading the regional Latam fleet business, but I can also imagine that you have to take into account some global guidelines. Is it easy for you in Latin America to comply to those global guidelines?
No, Stephen, it's very difficult to do it. It's nothing easy. But I think first you have to identify the level of maturity of your region versus global level. You have to make a mapping or identify every topic where you are in each country, and in terms of policy, procedures, vendors, etc. You have to identify first all those topics, and then you can set your strategy to move from local to global. And also some things that you have to balance in your program is that you have to be very flexible, because you need a lot of collaboration from your stakeholders and top leadership team. You have to have a lot of communication or clear communication about the benefits. What are the benefits from moving to a global strategy? You have to communicate, and they have to understand why we're doing this. Also, in terms of policies, I think is the first thing. You have to put your local policy and have alignment with your global policies. They have to be a mirror, the most that you can. Of course, you have to consider some local things that you cannot move to a global level. There might be always things that you cannot move it, things like tax or some local regulations. But I think those are the most important things that you have to consider.
Okay, Daniel, perhaps you can start again with another question.
Sure. I guess I'll go with João. And my question is a little bit more about the new powertrains that are taking place in Latin America. And do you have any comment about how you see the new powertrains or like electric vehicles entering the market within the region? How is it the evolution of EVs?
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak about Brazil specifically, where we are based today. We see a very good interest in terms of companies trying different types of cars, with electrical vehicles being one type. But still, it's a very limited market, very few models. The volume of cars often in our market is very limited as well. So today, companies are still using electrical vehicles in terms of testing the concept, and also using it to show how important is ESG for them. So it's not still a big trend in terms of it's going to happen next year or later in 2023. No, but companies are already taking advantage of the example that electric vehicles are for the ESG. In Brazil specifically, because we use ethanol as a way of as a fuel option, we see companies still using companies that really care about the environment, using ethanol as the best way to have a sustainable fleet.
Yeah. Does anyone else have other comment about this?
I would say
Go ahead.
it's a consequence of a necessary evolution. The EVs and new powertrains, but especially in Latin America, its large-scale adoption is still hitting the economic viability, and one of the reasons is the fueling, as João have said.
Ethanol,
Okay.
yeah. And Karina?
Yeah, I will just add that, yeah, there's a lot of pushing to move to these EV vehicles for sustainability, but we still have not enough maturity in Latam, at least, and but more to come in a short term, because we are having targets for reduction of carbon. The companies we are facing this. So I think in a short period we will having more about this.
Karina, we also see that some countries and some cities are putting in place, of course, some kind of taxation and regulation that can perhaps also stimulate EV electrification, fleet electrification, sorry. Do you already have electric vehicles or hybrid vehicles in your fleet across Latin America?
No, not in Latam yet, and we are piloting some of these programs, but not yet in Latam.
Okay. Another topic that we need to discuss is the move to smart mobility. We see, of course, that corporate fleet managers are confronted also with some city regulations, that we have younger generations that perhaps would like to share mobility. So, João, what about the future of the company car in the context of new mobility? Do you think that the company car has still a bright future ahead of it?
Yes, I do think. I mean, if you think about a country like Brazil, the use of the car on our daily routine. I mean, you cannot live in a city like São Paulo or my city, Belo Horizonte, without having a car. It's very difficult because public transportation is not available. What we envision is that clients and individuals will change the way they see the car. I mean, they are not, clients, individuals will see that cars is not something that you should have, but you should use. So we are seeing a very big trend in terms of the decision, especially the younger generation. I mean, they don't want to have a car, they want to use a car. So this is an important thing in terms of smart mobility for the future. Ride-hailing, so Uber and other types of ride-hailing companies are also playing a different role in mobility today. The use of data, the use of telematics, car sharing, everything is also being used to improve efficiency, minimize accidents, save lives, reduce downtime. So the use of technology and data will also change the way we see the future. In our company, we envision that the key enabler will be technology. Okay. So just to give an example, we have a team of over 700 people, designers, engineers, data scientists, working together with clients to really co-create the future of mobility. Okay. So this is how we envision the future.
Good. Sérgio, what is your view on new mobility across Latin America?
Well, I think it will go through many transformations, mainly with technology. We've seen, like, for example, the optimization of contacts by web conferencing, as we are doing right now. So if we see in the past, sales teams, they previously depended exclusively on displacement of salespeople in the field. And right now they are selling through web conferencing. So this is one of the technologies that is happening, and it's about mobility, right? But for very disruptive changes, I think mobility systems are not yet ripe enough for doing that, even though there are many basic advances that a trained fleet manager can implement right now, generating excellent results for their companies in the short term.
Then I would like to continue with Karina. Karina, do you think that caused by working from home, also by the new workforce generation, that perhaps you will go to those smart mobility solutions, perhaps to new forms of contracts in terms of leasing, perhaps more flexibility, shorter contracts? Is there a change that you expect?
Yes, well, we need to analyze as a company, we need to analyze the new trends that you are mentioning. And I think the COVID situation comes just as a fast track to move a little bit faster as a company. So yes, we need to start rethinking what kind of vehicles we are giving to our employees. Maybe the types of cars might change, because as I agree that we still people still need vehicles and we need mobility, but we need to rethink if the vehicles that we provide today are the ones that we should provide in the future, or maybe the frequency that we give cars. Maybe we give vehicles for 3 years, maybe we have to move to 4 years, or if we have 4 years, we have to move to 5 years, because the business travels are changing. So yes, companies, we have to rethink more faster on this and start taking some decisions.
Okay. A final question for each of you. Sergio, if there is one advice for a fleet manager to harmonize and consolidate fleet efficiency across Latin America, what would it be?
Only one, Stephen, I would say search for training and education. And there's many other situations here that you can say, like to act as a fleet manager, choose your technological partners strategically, be careful with global rules, as Karina said. So understand the particularities of the countries, and keep yourself up to date, because new technologies are arising all the time.
Okay. João, before that I ask you that final question, I of course need to ask if there is more news and how eventually a merger with Unidas what will happen for the fleet customer in Brazil.
Well, we are waiting for the regulatory organisms to give us an answer, and this will take place at the end of the year. And so we still have to wait. I mean, we are very confident that we can add a lot of value to customers, so we are still waiting for this question.
But if it will be approved, then it will only bring value and benefits to the customer.
Well, we believe that the combined forces of the two companies will lead us to better product management, better product development, better way to treat customers, and also make us stronger to see opportunities even outside of Brazil, maybe. So we're going to be a stronger company, and still very focused on clients, very focused on co-creating, as I said, the future of mobility.
Okay. And you have many customers in Brazil. You also know many customers in other countries. What is for you the biggest mistake that international customers make when they come into Latin America and they would like to perhaps do things like they do in Europe or North America?
Okay, I mean, it's simple. I mean, one size fits all does not apply to fleet. Different needs, different specification, different car models, different challenges within countries. So, I mean, my advice is always to look to the solutions locally and compare to global solutions and make the best choice. The original pitch that you need to consolidate data is no longer a challenge, because you have APIs furnishing data everywhere. You have BIs. It's very easy to consolidate. I think the biggest challenge is to create in each country the best solution for the local client in an aligned way.
Okay. And to you, Karina, what is your main tip for fleet peers? You are heading, of course, the fleet division of a large pharmaceutical company. There are many other businesses that have activities across Latin America. You have quite some knowledge and experience. So what is your main tip for fleet managers that get responsibility over Latin America as a fleet region?
Yeah, I think you have to balance what we talk right now, because yes, you have to harmonize, you have to move to a global level as much as you can, but yeah, it's important also the local needs. So you have to find a balance on that. You have to be also very constant and have a lot of communication with your stakeholders, with your drivers, with your leadership team. Be an educator. I think Sergio mentioned this. You have to keep your education by yourself and also educate your drivers a lot. So I think those are the main points.
Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the expertise. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to thank Karina URIBE of Pfizer, Sérgio Jábali of PARAR, and João Andrade of Localiza, and of course, my colleague and our Fleet Latam editor, Daniel Blend. And don't forget to check out our Global Fleet website to find more exciting information and expertise about the fleet region Latin America. Thank you.